My name is Tarrus Slater. I'm the CEO and founder of H2O.
Is it possible to have a good relationship?
It's very possible to have a good relationship, but before we can have a good relationship, we need to be able to define what a relationship actually is.
I know you've been married for a long time. How many years now? 30 years?
Man, yeah, we've been together well over 27 years. We've been together over 30 years.
Man.
Yeah, man.
That's a long time.
Yes, it is, man.
That's a long time.
I have an amazing wife, man, but I won't sit here in front and say, hey, man, it was easy. It's not. It's work, man.
Hey, viewers. Check out Tarrus Slater's new book, I'm Tired of This Marriage and I Want a Divorce. Now available on Amazon.com. Torres isn't just a published author, he's also a well-known motivational speaker right here from Houston, Texas. His work is inspiring countless people to take charge of their lives. And this book is no exception. Don't miss it. Grab your copy today on Amazon. If you'd like to order this book, I've placed the Amazon link down below in the description. If you are into content that inspires, surprises, and sticks with you, hit that subscribe. Turn on those notifications, and let's get busy. Welcome back to JBZ Media. This is your podcast presenter, JBZ, and I'm truly excited about today's episode. In the studio with me is a special guest, someone I deeply respect and consider a brother. He's an accomplished, published author to the inspirational book, I'm Tired of This Relationship, I Want a Divorce. But before we get started, I want to remind you to hit that subscribe button. Like and share this episode. Your support keeps us motivated to bring you more meaningful and inspiring content. Now let's welcome my brother and today's guest.
Well, hey, man, first let me start by saying, man, thank you for the invite. Like you were saying earlier, we've been knowing each other a long time. We do have the same passion for people and that, just that innate, need to help nurture people that are struggling and going through with issues. And with that being said, my name is Tarrus Slater. I'm the CEO and founder of H2O. That's How to Overcome LLC.
Okay. So what is H2O?
H2O is, man, in my business, I'm a certified life coach and mental health specialist. So we do a number of things in the business. We work one-on-one doing counseling with individuals that may be struggling. Then we also do business consulting with various number of companies, help them do team building. I do motivational speaking.
I know that part of you.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, I am a published author a few times, and more work to come, but our mission at H2O, man, is we're motivated and dedicated to the changing lives of others. Our mission is moving you forward, man, helping you maximize the potential that's within you.
Okay. So for those who don't know, Mr. Tarrus Slater is also a published author of this book, I'm Tired of This Marriage and I Want a Divorce. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it as we go, and it's a good read. Okay, so anyway, so since we're gonna be mostly focusing on relationship and in relationship with mental health, right?
Yeah, just talking about definitely. Mental health goes with relationships. And a lot of times, even when we talk about mental health, people, they think about people in a behavioral health hospital. And we forget that we all suffer from mental health.
For a long time, that I used to think of that, and I had a stigma.
Yeah. And you know, and it's funny. I like that you said that. That's amazing because, you know, we both work for behavioral health hospitals.
Yeah.
And our number one job, man, is reducing those stigmas. Because if you see someone that you feel like is broken or beyond help, you treat that person like that versus treating that person like a person. It's the same thing. You know, I know today our focus is on relationships, and then how does mental health play a part in
part of
them?
it, yeah.
You know, when we talk about what is mental health, we know it's your emotional, your psychological well-being, and you know how we think, how we feel, and how we do things. And are not those things associated in relationships?
Yeah.
That's how we move, you know, how you think,
Yeah.
how you feel about things that you're connected to, you know. So a lot of times in relationships, that does play a big part in it. It's so many other things, but we have to get back to the science of it, especially if we're going to talk about what a relationship actually is, because you can have an unhealthy relationship and then you can have a healthy relationship.
All right. So to you, is it possible to have a good relationship?
It's very possible to have a good relationship, but before we can have a good relationship, we need to be able to define what a relationship actually is. And there are so many people that are in relationships but can't define what it is.
Can you define it?
Well, I mean, it's
in your own
simple.
ways?
Yeah, in your own ways. And if you look it up, if you Google it, if you ask Siri, a relationship is where one to two organisms that they're joined together, they're connected. As it relates to people, it's the journey that we're connected. We have the same belief system, we have the same goals, and so when we connect, and when we talk about the word connect, that's agreeing to join for the transference of passengers. And I know somebody's saying, well, what is he talking about, the transferring of passengers? When we talk about mental health and things of that nature, that means that we're agreeing to be together. I have some baggage, you have some baggage, but we are trying to get to better. That's what we want to go to, is better. So we're going that way together. That's the relationship.
Okay. So then why do you think that people struggle?
A lot of times, you know, what we just talked about, people struggle because they forget the goal, or the relationship doesn't have a goal. So it is funny how we begin to think in a relationship, not about what people do for us, but what they do to us. And so when you look at it from that aspect, you always feel like you're being defeated in the relationship. They're doing a thing to me.
I know you've been married for a long time. How many years now? 30 years?
Man, yeah, we've been together well over 27 years. We've been together over 30 years.
Man.
You know? Yeah, man.
That's a long time.
Yes, it is, man.
That's a long time.
I have an amazing wife, man, you know, but I won't sit here in front and say, you know, hey, man, it was easy. It's not. It's work, man.
So how did you make it work then?
Well, I mean, hey.
Tell us your secrets already.
You know, here it is. And well, my deal is because I think we're in a day and time to where the nuclear family, the nuclear relationship is being destroyed. You know, people, they romanticize the ideal of a good relationship, but when it comes to putting in the work, then people push back. See, we want a relationship to be perfect from jump, and we think that energy is the thing that, watch this, that's going to keep it together. But I think we forget about what energy actually is. See, and when we talk about energy, energy is the ability to do work, which is the ability to exert a force in such a way that it causes displacement of an object. And somebody said he went way too deep. No, I didn't. What I'm saying is that if you want, even in a bad situation in your relationship, if your energy is right, you cause things to move in a different direction. But if my energy is bad and your energy is bad, then what's going to be the end result?
Disaster.
Disaster.
So, you know, man, it's good you came.
No, thank you for having me.
So, there's a lot of women I talk to, right? And every time I bring this topic or the subject relationship, it's like 90% of women always tell me, oh, I would like a man that would support me physically and also financially. Do you agree with that?
Man, you're going to get me beat up by all the women in the world.
Bring it on.
Watch this. I do agree that that's the way a lot of women who don't understand relationships feel and think. If you talk to most women, they're not looking at your mental status, your attributes, or anything of that nature. They're looking at what you have.
Yes.
Because they want the man to come, and some, I'm not saying all, they want him to come ready made. They want him to be in position to take care of them. And a lot of, I counsel women and men, and I tell them in most cases, if you have a guy that's put together like that and you bring nothing to the table, it's going to be a quick relationship. And you read between the lines with that one.
Okay, so,
sense.
yeah. So, we also have a lot of women that always say that men are narcissists, assholes, if I could say that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would be like, oh, that's the reason why, we're not together, because he was like this and that. He was always thinking about himself. He was selfish, things like that. Tell us what you think about that.
Well, it's funny you say that because even in the book, man, I wrote about that because that is something that you hear a lot of women say. And one of the things I talk about in the book is that you have to define what that actually is. What is it to be a narcissist? And that's that person that, watch this, has a deep admiration for what's going on inside of them. So when we look at it from that perspective, guess what? Both parties in the relationship are narcissistic at one time or another, because a lot of the time the fight in the relationship is because I can't have things my way. So what is that when we look at it defined? It's the same thing. But once again, like we said earlier, it's easy to say what a person is doing to me versus for me.
Wow.
What challenges do partners go through when depression is main concern?
We have to admit the weight that we have. And let me define that for somebody. We have to admit the weight that we have, because weight is a mass. If we define it, and I'm defining things today, I'm trying to help somebody. It's a mass. It's a matter that causes a downward force. Okay, let me break it down and let's talk about what we're talking about. It's when you get into a relationship and you have baggage from your last relationship. And you go into a new relationship expecting someone to change, but you're going to stay the same. And part of that depression comes from the baggage that you brung in. And when I say weight, when we talk about mass, let's focus on that mass being a matter. So many times the weight is we worry about what matters to so many other people versus what matters to us. And when you look at matter from a science perspective, it's supposed to be distant from your body. It's not supposed to be there, but we'll take that baggage and we keep trying to let it live through us. And we want to bring that baggage into a new situation. It doesn't fit. But you have to watch this. Look at yourself and be honest about what you see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. So based on everything you just stated, right? Do you have any personal experiences in your own relationship and how you fixed it?
Man, that's a great question. Man, one of the things, man, yes, my book is called I'm Tired of This Marriage and I Want a Divorce. Which, I will say, man, for 20 years, man, that's what I
Torres
said
Slater.
every day in my home. I said that every day. As a matter of fact, man, me and my wife, we were, my daughter was having, she was having a small procedure in San Antonio, Texas.
Yes.
And I had made my mind up that I was done. Excuse me. And I didn't even want to ride in a car with my wife, man. I didn't want to be nowhere near her. I was done, man. And, I had some good friends, that tell me I was wrong. You need to get in that car. You need to ride with her. Y'all have a purpose, and that's to go check on y'all child. And so, I did get in the car, man, and I didn't say anything to her all the way. We got all the way there.
That's 3 hours drive from Houston.
Man, I didn't say a word. Do you hear me? I didn't want to talk to her.
3 hours drive.
3 hours. Nor did I want to hear her voice, man. and so we got to the hotel, and when we got in there, man, and watch this, just like we do in relationships.
Yes.
I'm looking for an argument, so I started trying to pick a fight, and one thing I love about my wife is my wife is a very, very honest person. And I started asking her questions about how I feel about different things. And she was courageous enough to be honest with me. And that started. And then after that, she started asking me questions. And one of the things that we found out is, man, that we had carried weight for years, man, about things that wasn't even true. But the communication piece,
yes.
It was gone. It was absent. My thing was, is we were cohabitating, but we had different, she had weight, I had weight. Right. And once again, like I said, is you'll tell a perfect stranger, but you don't have that communication piece with the person you're in the house with, And so that started it, man, not knowing that we would lose our daughter that weekend, man. And after that happened, that inspired me to start just writing, man, to putting it down. And when we created a safe place, man, when we started defining what the relationship actually was, man, it's been beautiful ever since. And I'm being real, I'm not saying that we don't have
ups and downs.
Ups and downs, we do, but we're committed to the relationship. We understand where the relationship is headed. That's why, watch this, although we're grandparents, we're still in a relationship with one another. You know what I mean?
You're still dating?
Yes, you got to date, man. You got to date. And watch this. I don't care how long you've been together. You need to study your partner.
You don't get tired of each other?
Man, yes. Look, yes, we do. Yes. But we laugh about it, though, man. Because, you need space from anything that you're connected to too much. You do need some time to yourself, but you have to do an assessment on yourself too, man, to be able to talk about your needs. One of the things that I talk about in this book is creating a safe place. And that's being able, so that you could talk to your spouse. And me and my wife, we have rules in that safe place that whatever I say, it matters. If I'm bringing it up, it matters. And the same goes for her. And so I can't be judgmental in that thing. I have to listen so that we can come up with a viable plan that works for both of us. And man, what we found is that when we do that, we're better for it. And just like working out, though, sometimes we want the muscles and we don't want to do the work. So there are times, even now in our relationship, that we'll forget about creating that safe place and having that conversation. But I'm thankful that we're reminded, we go back to it and we move forward.
What about personality differences in the relationships?
Oh man, it's important. They are different, and then everybody is you have to know what your partner's love language is. There are some women that want flowers all the time. There are some women that just want you to take them somewhere. And then there are some women that seek affirmation. So you got to know your partner's love language, but you get that love language by actually having some open communication, talking. I can't know what you want if you don't tell me. I can't know if I'm making a mistake if you don't tell me. So that communication, it has to happen.
Okay, you have to you have to find a chemistry.
You have to. Okay. And, one of the things I often talk about is if you park the relationship, you're asking for trouble to come in. If you get to the place, and I did a series talking about, and it was for me, and so ladies, don't beat me up, about how so many husbands could be turned into robots. robots where they function and it appears that they're doing everything right, but they're broken and they're beaten on the inside because in their mind they deem that they will never please their spouse and they're unhappy. So watch this.
You know what? Men go through that most of the time.
Yes.
Especially in this culture today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, well, because we deem that, you know, when you get home from work, take the trash out. Do this,
Yes.
do that, do
yes.
this, do that, do this. And that cycle repeats over and over again. And a lot of men lose their self-worth in doing that. And watch this. I'm not saying that those are not good things to do,
Yes.
but you can't lose you in the process of building your relationship or being in it because you matter. You can't lose yourself. Because if you're unhappy, I promise you're going to make your partner unhappy.
Miserable. Yeah. So do you think mental health plays a part in those kind of relationship?
Oh, definitely it does, man. In every relationship, when you start talking about relationships and we start talking about weight, we talk about baggage. There are many relationships, man, they're brought together by trauma bonding. Yeah, by trauma bonding. And that's that person that, watch this, they're used to being in abusive situations, right? So those have become those norms for them. So they feel like that if we're not fighting in the relationship is not good. And that's not the case. Even when we look at Stockholm syndrome and you talk about that person that's been in a abusive relationship and they feel like that relationship is thriving and functioning, but it's not. You have two people that are broken. And when I was doing research, man, you know, for someone that I was working with, it's funny, man, that I talk to so many women that feel like abuse is not abuse if it's not physical. But abuse is abuse.
Could be mental, could be spiritual.
Yes.
Could be mental, spiritual, financial.
Yes.
Well, different types of abuse.
Yeah. Anytime, and watch this, anytime you feel like you're unheard, anytime you feel like you don't matter, and you're in a situation with someone who's supposed to be your support system, that's abuse. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that. Yeah. Let's talk about trust.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about trust in a relationship.
Well, I think, and I like that you asked that question though, because
the other day I was working with this lady, right? We were just working, and supposedly, this lady's her spouse went to the bathroom, and she says she started going through. She's been married like 7 years. They have 2 kids. She started going through his phone and found out he's been texting some other lady at his place of work, bullshitting around. Then, man, that became like a big issue. And after that, man, now trust issue is pretty much like a messed up.
Well, it's funny you say that, though, because let's look at it for what it is. And that's when we look at it, we have to fact find, because I don't think the trust issues came from her going through the phone. They were there before she went through the phone. Yeah. It's what caused her to go through the phone. You understand what I'm saying? And it's funny that when we talk about relationships, even when we have issues in the relationship, we don't ask ourselves what the problem is, why the problem exists, and whose responsibility it is to address it. Well, you know, the thing about it is, without trust, man, it's hard for any relationship to work. I mean, and you can have a relationship without trust and still be functioning and moving along, but you won't be functioning in a good way. You know, I think more than trust, in order to establish that trust, we have to have one key element, and that's communication. You know, because a lot of times in relationships, we do communicate, and you've heard me define so many things in this podcast that we talk about. And that's that sending and receiving of messages. That's what communication is defined. So here's my deal. As it relates to the partner, what message are you sending? And then what message are you receiving? And I'll say it this way. People hear more what you do versus what you say. That's how we listen. That's how we communicate. Because you could tell me you love me all day long, but then show me another behavior, and I'm going to look at what you show me. That's going to become my truth. And then as it relates to trust, I trust that you'll repeat that action. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I've heard mental health red flags of toxic relationships.
Well, I think when you talk about the red flags,
this relationship is becoming toxic.
Many things is definitely if you're trying to have a conversation with your person or the person that you're in a relationship, and you feel like nothing is moving forward, that you see some behaviors that you know that can be harmful for the relationship, and the person that is not willing to take ownership or to try to create some durable change and things of that nature. And I think that that's where that, like he was asking about trust, that lack of trust coming in. I don't trust that you'll do anything different other than what's going on now. And I think what we get in trouble at with that is that so many people, because of their love for that person, they sort of turn blinders on as it relates to what's harmful for the relationship. We often say, oh, they're going through a change, or that person is going through a phase, and we leave it right there, and it gets worse and worse. You know, we work behavior health.
Yes.
Anything that we don't address, we reinforce.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not willing to have that conversation.
And someone with unsolved trauma build a healthy relationship.
Yeah, I think so. But here's my thing: is I think first we have to admit that the trauma is there.
The trauma is there. Okay, that's the first thing to do. Okay.
Right. It's the same thing. And when we talk about therapy in an individual, you have the first way we can even change, we have to be honest about what's present. Because if we're not, then we still function. And the thing about it is that people try to hide their trauma.
The trauma.
They
Those are
try
past
to hide
traumas.
it. Yeah, past
We
trauma.
talk about past traumas like in past relationships, right? Okay.
Yeah, because what do? When you first meet a person, you don't present as real. You present as what you think that person want to see in you.
Okay.
Very rarely do you see someone be themselves entering into, we're just talking about the dating phase, the application phase, saying that, I see you, I'm attracted to you, and I think that we could start a journey. Very rarely do that person present as they are. And I think therein lies a lot of the problems too, because once you're on that journey and now you're in that relationship, you got to uphold what you showed. And when we get comfortable, when we get complacent, we're like, okay, now it can be me. And then that person is saying, who are you?
Okay.
Because that's why you hear a lot of people say, when we first started dating, you used to do this. And that's because you presented as someone else when y'all first started dating versus who you actually are.
Okay. I have a question.
Okay.
So I'm so curious, what do you think happens in relationships when one person cheated in their past? Like they were married but cheated and then got engaged to the person they cheated with and then got married.
Here's my thing. You think about it. If a person that's with someone cheats, fall in love with your side piece, let's say what we call it today.
Side piece,
the side piece. You're going into a relationship with no trust. Think about it.
So you don't think
if somebody knows that you're in a committed relationship and then they start a relationship with you and you leave that relationship, let's say they leave their relationship, you're entering into a new relationship with no trust. Because one of the first thoughts you're going to formulate is, if you did it to her or you did it to him, you'll do it to me. Now, here's the problem with that. We live in a time where, man, it's so sad because I think a one-on-one relationship is a beautiful thing.
One-on-one relationship.
But you have it, one of the norms now, and it's sad to say, is that people encourage having the side piece. And that's whether it be men or women. It used to be, if you had good friends, they would encourage you not to cheat.
Not to cheat.
But you got the person that's got a side piece. He's seeking advice from his friends on problems in the relationship with the side piece when he got a whole wife at home or a whole husband at home. if that makes sense.
Okay. Then why do you think people cheat then?
Insecurity within
Insecurity.
themselves.
Can you?
I believe that. A lot of times, man, when you see a person that has to have multiple partners, multiple people, it's not about those people. It's about that person. They're seeking and searching for validation. And a lot of times people associate validation with that emotional, sexual feeling. That's a physical thing.
Physical. Okay. Who do you think cheat most? More men or women?
Hey, that's a real good question. I'm going to say this, and I believe I think it's equal, man. It used to be that you had the woman, and I'm not a chauvinist at all. I'm answering the question. It used to be where you had the woman who was at home all the time. The man stayed out clubbing, drinking, hanging out with the partners, and so he's hunting while he's out. And the conversation, even you've been around a while. Oh, you're old enough to know now. The conversation is mostly led about different women and their attributes, and then seeing if you still got it. And so that's the way it used to be. But now the woman is not in the home, and I'm not saying she should be, but the woman is not in the home. The woman leaves the house as much as the man does.
Same household as husband.
Same household. They leave just as much. And then you have to, when there are things that are absent at home, we try to find them in other people. If that makes sense. There are situations, and I counsel a lot of people, there are situations where people will wait until they are into it with the other spouse and decide that, I'm going to take vengeance, and the way that I'll take vengeance is with someone else, not knowing they're doing more damage to themselves versus the person that you're with.
Okay. Man. Hey, okay, that's good. So, do you believe in forgiveness?
Forgiveness? Yes, I do.
When a partner cheats?
Yes, I do. Here's my thing. But it's a process.
It's a process.
And I think a lot of times we forget the process because to forgive is to say that I know that you did an act and we can move forward. If that makes sense. All too often what happens is that we forgive, but we don't move forward. So what happens is in those intense moments of fellowship, those arguments, we keep bringing up the past. We keep bringing up the past. And so a lot of times, whether it be man or woman, we push that person right back out to the streets.
Got it.
Because remember, we all suffer from that mental health thing, and we all, we don't even validate the hurt in the person that you've cheated on. You think, wait, now I asked for forgiveness. You said you forgive me, so why do you keep bringing it up?
Yes.
And one of the reasons why they keep bringing it up is because you hadn't sit down, created a safe place to have that conversation and actually say, this is what led up to it. And then you have some people that are just naturally dogmatic, and that's a whole nother story. Because you could forgive and you can also move on too if those characteristics continue to be there.
Yeah. So earlier you talked about communication in relationship. When you talk about what you went through with your spouse, right? What is really communication?
Well, I think that communication is being clear about what your role is and what it is that you're doing, being able to speak the same love language, and then recognizing that every day is not going to be a bed of roses, that there are going to be some ups and downs. One of the biggest things that my wife, she used to hate it, and I use that word loosely. She said, every time we get into an argument, you always want to leave. And it drove her nuts, because the deal is that
was you.
Yeah, we got into it, but it doesn't mean anybody has to go anywhere. Let's work through the problem. Let's talk about what led up to the problem. Let's talk about what has you feeling that way and see if we can bring about a compromise. One of the biggest things, and I didn't talk about this, in most relationships, people treat their partner like they're the adversary, and the adversary's job is to win in the conflict, not only to win, but to destroy to destroy. So watch this. How can I be in a relationship that I say I want to work out, but yet I'm treating my partner like an opponent and I want to destroy them? That's toxic.
Oh, okay. I got it. I've read your book and you talk about creating a safe place. What really is a safe place in relationship?
A safe place is being able to talk to the person you're with, the person that you're on that journey with, about any and everything. Any and everything. And then when we talk about that, it's a non-judgmental zone. Non-judgmental. That means that no matter what's about to come out of my mouth, and it's a hard thing to do, but the rules have to be put in place before you sit down and have that conversation. It's just like, with a lot of women, most of them, because of past trauma, they have a brick wall put up. And so what happens is when they begin in a new relationship, they have some belief that you may do right. And so all too often what happens is they give you a brick from that wall. And then what happens is if you're not truthful or they feel like they're unheard, they take that brick right back. And the goal is, we talk about creating a safe place, is to understand that I may only get a brick at a time, but the goal is for the wall to come down. So I cannot continue to building it up and then get mad when the wall is not coming down. Because let's be real, we're in a different day and time. People move different. We've talked about the side piece being the norm. Nowadays, people justify when they cheat and things of that nature. So how much more is creating that safe place in your household important?
Yes.
It's very important.
Yes.
And in no way am I saying that you should continue in an abusive situation or a relationship that's not going anywhere. There are three things that I talk about in the book. And that's, I'll say again, that's that who, that's that why, and that's that what.
What? Who?
You know what
what?
I mean? Yeah. Because whose responsibility is it? What's actually happening? And how are we going to fix this?
What if it's not working?
Huh?
What if it's not working out?
This is the one thing that we have to do. And I like that question because sometimes it's unfortunate it doesn't. But I think that if we use that system, if we actually identify what's really causing the problems, why those problems are actually there, whose responsibility is it to fix it, and how we're going to fix it, you have to first look within yourself. And then we have to, and I love the way that you said that, because all too often we get in trouble because we try to control things that are beyond our control. There are some things as it relates to your relationship that you cannot control. You can't control how a person feels. You can't control how they think. You can't control what the outcome of your interaction is going to be. And so many times, people get upset about them, and now we're going down a whole nother street other than the problem that was put before us. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. So before we wind out, right? What message could you tell the young generations concerning relationships?
Oh, I like that.
I know you are a little bit old school.
Yeah, I think he just called me old, y'all. Yes, I am. I'm proud of it. Watch this. So when we talk about young people,
Yes.
Here's what I would say. Is fall in love with yourself before you learn to fall in love with somebody else. Because all too often, once again, we present as somebody else. You got to love you. A lot of people, if you are broken when you get into a relationship and that person that you're getting into the relationship with is broken, you're about to trauma bond. And you can't expect it to be anything other than chaos in that relationship. And you have to understand that you matter, that everything about you is amazing. And here's the deal. I don't need to change me in order for you to fit into my world. I'm good the way that I am. It's either accept me or you don't. And that's whether it be male or female, you are totally okay. Don't start a relationship off doing things that you know you cannot keep up. That's the advice that I would give.
Okay. The reason about that, I've seen recently in the past couple years in me being working in the mental field, a lot of youngsters, especially adolescent kids, admitted for suicidal or depression concerns are mostly related to broken relationships. And man, sometimes I'd be like, wow, man, it's just sad.
It's a sad thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because I think that when we talk about relationships, a lot of times, and for this podcast, we put the focus on, individuals. We did define what a relationship is, but it could be when we talk about relationship, it goes beyond couples because it could be brothers, it could be cousins, it could be brother and sister, it could be mother and father, aunties and nieces and uncles and nephews. All of those are relationships. And when we start talking about culture conditioning, a lot of young people don't have the validation. They don't have the foundation of what social norms actually are. So they seek affirmation in the relationships. And then let's talk about the real science. Developmentally, a lot of young people are not at a place where they can handle a relationship. And so if I'm broken at home and nothing is going right, but I've found someone who can relate to me and what's going on with me, and I bond with that person, and that bond is broken, and usually with young people, that bond is broken by what? Parents or whoever that guardian is. So yeah, now I got a psychotic episode going on because I feel like I actually can't live without this person. It's the one thing that I had, and now you're taking that away from me. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Sad situation.
It is.
Mr. Tarrus Slater, thanks for coming.
Say, I thank you for having me, man.
That
It's
was
been
deep.
amazing.